Konnichiwa Disc Golf fans, and welcome to Disc Channel's coverage of Round 3 Front 9 Lead Card MPO from the 27th Nippon Open presented by DiscRaft. My name is Rowland, Innova Ambassador, and I will be talking you through all of the action here from the gorgeous Kibougaoka Park Sports Zone here in Shiga Prefecture in western Japan. Through 2 rounds, our competitors have had a very tight battle. The 4 competitors on our lead card are 4 of the top MPO athletes Japan has to offer, and this course, the Nippon Open, is one of the toughest, longest, and most technical courses in Japan. Strap in, you're in for a good ride. Through 2 rounds, JackyChen out of Taiwan is tied for the lead with Manabu Kajiyama at 5 under. Ko-Simmel is 1 stroke behind them at 4 under, and Yutaro Sakai is in 4th place at even. This tournament took place on July 5th and 6th, Saturday and Sunday 2025. The weather was absolutely gorgeous, as you will see. Conditions are fantastic for our athletes. We'll see what they can do with it. Starting with hole number 1. Hole 1 is a par 4, 679 foot, 207 meter. Absolute beast of a hole. Throwing something up onto the ridge that puts you in good position on the left to access this very narrow doorway into the green is the name of the game here. It's a very challenging shot. Par is a competitive score on this hole. We'll see whether or not our lead card can do something better. JackyChen, Innova-sponsored athlete, will be taking the box on hole 1. It's a very good move on this one. You can see that brush to the left of the stairway. That is OB, so anything that comes up left and short will be OB. But Jackie has no business with that. He did end up pretty far right. Not going to have the best angle into the green. We'll see what he can do with what he has left. Next up, Manabu Kajiyama with his tee shot. Very good angle on this one. It's going to finish much more left than Jackie's shot. Gets through the trees. He will have a straight shot into the green from there. Excellent position shot. A little bit of luck goes a long way, but he definitely threw the shot he needed to get into position. Ko-Simmel is our 3rd player to tee off. Very smooth form from Ko. Not quite as deep as our other 2 athletes, but he has put himself in good position to access the green. And last but not least, Yutaro Sakai. Both Yutaro and Manabu are Prodigy-sponsored athletes. Yutaro with a similar angle off the tee shot as Manabu, but a slightly less stable disc. That puts him way off to the right, but he could be far enough out that he has a good forehand line into the green. Let's see. Oh, he has quite a bit of distance left to get to the green from here. The wind has picked up. We'll see what he can manufacture. Going for a flex shot over the top here. Not sure if he got far enough left on that. Ko throws a forehand on a hyzer line that skips nicely up into the access way to the green. He'll have a long look for his birdie. JackyChen assessing his lie and determining that pitching out for position into the green is the best play. Kind of an unfriendly roll there, but it shouldn't be too difficult to get up and down. And Manabu can probably see the basket from where he is. Doesn't quite get the angle right and catches a tree along the left side into this very well protected green. Jackie has a straight look at the basket here. Beautifully executed. He'll have a short 5-meter putt to clean up his par. Yutaro was a bit too far to the right to access the green, and now has this long look for his par. Doesn't run it, takes his medicine, and will settle for his bogey. Manabu did end up off to the left side, but he has a look at the basket. We'll see whether or not the low ceiling impedes his putt. He got through, and a very good run at it, but just wide right. Just a bit too much cabbage along the left side for Ko to be able to convert his putt. A little bit of meat left on the bone for his comebacker. No problem for him. Very nice par. Manabu taking his time with this putt. These Japan manufactured, Innova Japan manufactured. That's not Innova in Japan. That is the company Innova Japan. It is separate. The Innova Japan manufactured 4-legged baskets that fold up into a very compact package are commonplace around Japan. They're single chain. They kind of had a wide belly to them, easy to cut through, and if you hit high, they don't catch very well. But if you hit them in the heart, they catch as well as any good basket does. The tray's a little bit low, but they are fair. Through one hole, 3 of our lead card have parred and 1 has bogeyed, which was a common story today in round 3. Hole 1 averaged 0.14 strokes over par, the second hardest hole of the day. 20% of the field getting pars, 40% bogeys, and 40% double bogey or worse. As we move on into hole 2. Hole 2 is a par 3, 246 foot, 75 meter tunnel shot that wraps from left to right and continues wrapping right down here to the basket. It's difficult to shape a forehand shot through this fairway that skips all the way up to the pin. You give yourself a long look, generally speaking. A backhand turnover that settles and slides is a very good shot, but with the elite power that many of this lead card forehand throwers have, I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple on the dance floor for a birdie putt. JackyChen does well with his tee shot and gives himself a long circle 2 look for his birdie. Manabu Kajiyama, known globally for his smooth forehand form. Just a flick of the wrist. Much better angle on this one than Jackie had, and he puts himself well into circle 1 for his birdie putt. It's difficult to tell here. I don't think that our competitors can see the basket from the tee, so you really have to rely on the feeling you develop through 3 rounds of play plus your practice rounds to understand whether or not this is a good shot. This looks a bit too straight from Ko, and he goes straight into the cabbage at the elbow of the hole. Disappointed with his own performance. And Yutaro's going to show us this backhand line. Getting the right angle, the right amount of spin, selecting the right stability of disc. All a big challenge. He catches the inside of the corner just before making the turn, and will likely not have a look for his birdie here. It is a short hole, but it does have teeth. You can see that there is quite a bit of space on the far side of the tree line. Very nice touch on the forehand approach from Yutaro. Not a lot of OB out there, and so if you kick off the fairway or end up going long, nice attempt from Ko, then it can be really tough to get back into the fairway, back into a position to score, even on a short hole. Jackie, very good run at it, tickles chains, ends up about 4 meters away from the basket for his par putt. And our lead card's final look at birdie. There were 25 players in the field, and of those 25, only 2 were able to pull down the bogey. This hole number 2, scored 0.56 strokes over par with 8% birdies, 48% par, 28% bogey, and 16% double bogey or worse. The Jackie needs to watch out with putts like that. These high putts sometimes get rejected. There's no upper chain hinge on these baskets, and so it's rather like throwing directly into a metal support when you hit the top ring or so. But what do I know? He's a much better player than I am. I'm not in first place, well, second place now, through 2 holes in the last card of one of the largest tournaments of the year here in Japan, so maybe he knows better than I do. A little bit of movement on our lead card through the second hole. As we move into hole 3, another tight wooded hole. This hole is a par 4, 427 foot, 130 meter. Your first shot, you just want to stay between the trees and get yourself somewhere around here before the woods kind of open up. There are quite a few paths both to the left and to the right of the fairway if you end up hyzering off or getting a friendly kick. But the name of the game on these wooded holes, as with most wooded holes, is to try to stay in the fairway and give yourself a look. Whatever your straightest flying disc here is what you're going to want to throw. Manabu's going to start us off with the low forehand line. Just look at how low the ceiling is. He's off left early, but gets a very friendly kick. He'll have a step out forehand from there. You can see our competitors fanning themselves, many people using sun umbrellas. It was extremely hot. Sweaty hands are definitely something to be dealt with here as Jackie pats his chalk bag. Beautiful shot from Jackie, absolutely shaping up the fairway right into the open woods area. He will have a straightforward approach. I'm not going to call it simple because the fairway is quite narrow, but he'll have a straightforward approach to the basket from there. Looks like Ko is also going to show us the forehand line. And he makes the same mistake as Manabu, but unfortunately gets a very sharp kick off to the left into the shoal. We'll see what that leaves him with. I think I've said this before on Disc Channel coverage, but there are several locations in Japan where Yutaro's height gives him an advantage, and this hole happens to be one of them. That disc gets stable at just the right time. He'll be just off the fairway to the right there, but like I said, there are plenty of lanes to the basket. Yeah, really nothing to do but pitch out from there with Ko. Lucky he had a line to pitch out. Most courses in Japan for tournaments are set up on temporary layouts. And so this one, as you can probably tell, is a walking path through the woods adjacent to a multi-purpose sports park. And so there isn't a lot of course maintenance that happens along the sides of these fairways. Keep you honest. Manabu with a fantastic display of forehand touch. Getting him well up the fairway. He may have a long look at his birdie. Ko not getting the results he was looking for with that shot. And playing a little bit of army golf. Left, right, left, right. But he does have a line to the basket and puts one chain high. A very nice approach. This is Yutaro's second shot. Hits a tree on his way into the basket, perhaps a bit too straight coming out of the woods there. But he'll have a long look at birdie. Jackie not interested in an eagle putt, although he definitely had one. We'll pitch up for his easy birdie. And Manabu has this for his birdie, which is incredible given his tee shot. Manabu off to the left. Hate to see it. Nice try. Yutaro in tester range here for his birdie putt. Which he converts on. Fantastic putt there from Yutaro. Big smile on his face. Getting out of the woods, even or better, is certainly the goal here. A big smile on his face. As we run it back again to see that beautiful edge of circle putt from Yutaro. Ko stops the bleeding with a double bogey here. As both Yutaro and Jackie are going to be picking up strokes on their card. Manabu cleans up his simple par, and I think we're going to see Jackie putt with his bag on. Hole 3 played .68 strokes over par. Not as sharp of teeth as perhaps you might expect. 8% birdie, 40% par, 36% bogey, 16% double bogey or worse. And we are tied at the top. Jackie and Manabu are tied at 6 under. Ko 4 strokes behind them at 2 under, and Yutaro picking up a stroke at even 2 strokes behind Ko. As we move into hole 4, hole 4 is a par 4, 558 foot, 170 meter shot. The drone is showing you the sky turnover, which is not the line that the majority of players are going to be taking. They'll be taking the low line under the trees, trying to avoid this little OB area here just short of the green, and give them some kind of look at their birdie. All rivers, bridges, parking lots, athletic areas, soccer fields, ground golf areas, and otherwise marked areas are OB here, so that river will be OB if you end up in it. But Jackie does not. Very nice, safe, booming tee shot. Yutaro going for a lower line here. If this disc is not too stable, it should sit nicely in the fairway, which it does. It's really essential to get as much distance as possible on this tee shot if you're going for the birdie. The second shot into the green has a lot of risk of OB, and making that shot as simple as possible with a good tee shot is definitely the recipe for scoring on this hole. Manabu using a bit too much of that ceiling than he wanted to, and he gets slapped down about 70 or 80 meters off the tee. Forehand is a popular line here with OB along the left. Ko, with one of the most powerful forehands among Japanese MPO players, makes short work of getting into that open area about halfway down the fairway. Getting too far to the right there can pinch off your look into the green, so hopefully he didn't get too far to the right. Manabu with a very aggressive roller line here, which catches the only bush he needed to miss on his way to the basket. He should have a simple approach for his par save, though. Yutaro going up and over the top on his second shot. Does this have the carry? It does. He has a long circle 2 bid for his birdie. Ko is a bit pinched off here, but there is a high forehand line all the way to the green. And with his power, he has no trouble making it. He'll have a look for his birdie, looking to get things back on track this round. Jackie with a similar line to Ko. And as long as that's set, he'll be in circle 1 for his birdie look. Manabu trying to decide which of those 2 discs to throw with. You'll notice that he threw his shot with his other disc in his hand. Play like you practice, I guess, and if you're used to throwing with a disc in your opposite hand, why drop it if you don't need to? We'll see if Manabu can clean up his par from there. Yutaro does not run his putt. And it looks like this area was not OB. My apologies. Manabu hits the legs of the basket on his par save attempt. Ko just high, and as with any hole that is perched on a hill, hitting metal is almost worse than missing altogether. He gets a long roll just outside circle 1. Ko is an aggressive player. I don't see him laying this up. We'll see where that stopped. Jackie converting on his birdie, making the hole look simple. Ko smiling, putting a bit too much oomph on that putt, I think, but it stays in the basket, no worries. And Manabu will drop another stroke, 2 strokes actually, to Jackie on this hole, as Yutaro cleans up his par. Hole 4 played 0.72 strokes over par, 12% of the field birdied, 28% par, 40% bogeyed, and 20% were double bogey or worse. Jackie's birdie puts him to 7 under, 2 strokes ahead of Manabu, who dropped 2 strokes with his bogey. Ko remains in 3rd place, but is now only 1 stroke separated from Yutaro at -1 and even respectively. As we move into hole 5, a par 3, 377-foot, 115-meter shot where the players can finally stretch their legs. They'll be throwing over the Obi River, but with their power, it will not come into play in the least. As long as they can go up and over this wall of trees, there should be no problem, but with their elite power, 115 meters on a hyzer line shouldn't be an issue. You can see there is a strong right to left wind blowing out in the open. Not sure if Jackie had a wind read on that, which is the benefit of being second on the box here. Yutaro saw the action on Jackie's disc, and we'll see if he can compensate. This is going to be well off to the left for that left to right breeze, and also well short, a bit too nose up. Shaking his hand, I wouldn't be surprised if our players were having grip issues right now. In 2025, Japan has been experiencing an extended, almost month-long, unprecedented heat wave, and players are certainly feeling the effects of it with their grip. Manabu with a great flexing tee shot that just doesn't quite make it. Ko with a very, very low shot that clears the opposite bank of the river. I'm sure his heart skipped a beat when he released that. Fairly simple approach here to the basket. Right to left wind favors the forehand. Goes a bit long and leaves a bit more than I think he would have liked to for his par save. Yutaro using that wind to his advantage. Very nice, soft, touchy approach to the basket. This is certainly a runnable putt here for Jackie. The putt was just too perfect. Hit dead straight on the pole. Bounced into the edge of the cage on this shallow basket. That's got to be frustrating, but he's not showing it on his face. The mark of a true professional. Manabu hitting the basket in the heart, right where it likes to catch, and converting on his birdie, one of only 2 of the day. Let's run it back and have another look at that putt. Beautiful snap out of the hand, low, just off to the left, but moving with the right pace and on the right angle to drop into the cage. Very nice putt from Manabu. Good left to right wind read there. The wind pushes the high putt into the basket. Yutaro, little flick of the wrist to save his par. And Jackie disappointed, but still in the lead with a par here on hole 5. Hole 5 played .04 strokes over par, one of the easier holes today. 8% birdies, 80% pars, and 12% bogeys. Nothing worse than that. I feel like Manabu's putt and Jackie's putt were very similar. It's just that Manabu's didn't hit the pole and thus set. Through 5, JackyChen is still in the lead at 7 under. Manabu is now 1 stroke behind him at 6 under. Ko Simul maintains a 1 under 3rd place, and Yutaro Sakai is even 1 stroke behind him as we go into hole 6. Hole 3, 262 foot, 80 meter, dead straight shot. You're looking for a straight mid-range or a putter if you have the power for it. You can't really work a right to left moving shot because of that guardian tree on the right side, but there is room for a forehand hyzer. Which Manabu is showing us. With the hill there on the right side, there really is no reason not to take an aggressive line with the forehand. Even if you skip long, you're probably going to hit that berm and roll back. Or at least sit on the berm. Of course, being stuck on a hill gives you lousy footing for a putt. But lousy footing inside circle 1 is much better than good footing outside. And there's that roll I was talking about. Nice shot from Jackie into the bullseye. Yutaro a bit sawed off on his forehand. It's kind of surprising. He's got plenty of power. As Ko hits our cameraman behind the basket. I don't think anyone was expecting him to go that long, but when you're not having the best round, sometimes when you're on an open hole with a shot you favor, you just put a little bit more onto it than you want to. Our cameraman was okay, by the way. Yutaro with a very good line on that putt, but comes up left. Ko, after hitting the camera, making good on his good break and catching a birdie. All jokes aside, I think that skip would have put him pretty close to the basket anyway. So, an unfortunate turn of events, but no harm, no foul. It's the price that is paid for bringing you guys coverage, as Manabu gets his birdie, momentarily tied with JackyChen and putting together a very fine round. As Yutaro taps in his par. And Jackie with the parasol shouldered birdie. Love to see it. Hole 6 was the softest hole of the day at .48 strokes under par, with 48% birdies, 52% pars. Through 6 holes, your leader is still JackyChen at 8 under. Manabu 1 stroke behind him at 7 under. Ko Simul with his birdie pulls 1 stroke away from Yutaro Sakai at 2 under and even respectively. Moving into hole 7, par 3, 400 foot, 122 meter. Dead straight shot up onto this slight right to left sloping hill. The road to the right of the basket the whole way is OB. So if you're throwing backhand, you don't want to turn something over too much. But if you don't turn it over a bit, you're not going to get the right motion to get onto the green for a birdie look. It's a good distance to challenge our backhand players. Manabu has the box and is showing us the backhand line. He groans and says, it's the same thing again. I'm going to guess that he did the same thing in round 2 and maybe even round 1. Jackie going for the forehand flex line. Does he have 400 feet? He sure does. Puts himself into circle 1. Ko also goes with the forehand line, but he saws it off a bit, and if this doesn't get down, we have a very confused pedestrian wondering what she just heard behind her. Luckily, no contact was made, but unfortunately for Ko, he's going to have a tough bogey save here. Yutaro going with the backhand roller. A bit long, but he's got a look. As Manabu lines up his approach. The winds out here at Kibougaoka Park are quite strange because Shiga Prefecture is home to Lake Biwa, which is the largest freshwater lake in Japan. It is only a kilometer or 2 away from this park. It covers about 1/6 of the area of the prefecture. It is over 4 million years old and has a unique ecosystem, home to a number of species that can be found there and nowhere else. Yutaro with a valiant attempt at his birdie. And Jackie closes his sun umbrella for this birdie putt. I guess if it's outside the bullseye, you don't mess around with that. Very nice birdie from JackyChen. Hole 7 played 0.12 strokes over par with 8% birdies, 76% pars, 12% bogeys, and one player, 6%, getting double bogey or worse. Jackie showing us how it's done on this front 9. Takes another stroke on his card, putting together a very nice round. At 9 under, Manabu is 2 strokes behind him at 7 under, and Ko and Yutaro are still at -1 and even respectively as we move into hole 8. Hole 8 is a par 3, 338 foot, 103 meter shot over this OB road, over this athletic field which plays OB the whole way, onto this berm. Very difficult to get a disc to land and settle. We'll see what our competitors can do here. The OB on the playing field does not extend all the way to the edge, and it does play as hazard. So even if you're OB, you will be able to step up and play. You can see the white line that's sort of midway through the outfield, just outside the infield. The infield is all hazard. So if you catch some cabbage on the way out, you're in danger of going into the hazard. Manabu going straight at it with this beautiful flex line. Gorgeous shot, nothing to it. 103 meters on a frozen rope. Stress-free birdie. Yutaro liked that line. Let's see if he can match. Anything you can do, I can do better. In the bullseye. Love to see it. Really too much ground for Yutaro to cover in order to put himself in competition for the win. But he's certainly competing for the podium here with Ko. And a stress-free birdie no doubt feels good. Ko going for the forehand hyzer line. It's a very nice skip off of the outfield up onto the berm, but he'll have a long look for his birdie. Jackie about 15 meters, halfway through circle 2. And runs it. Lucky to catch metal and sit so close to the basket. He'll have no problem cleaning up his par. Beautiful putt, uphill, dangerous position. Ko Simmel knows no danger. Beautiful birdie. As Jackie taps out his par. Manabu parasol and a towel in hand for his birdie putt. And Yutaro with parasol and bag on back for his birdie putt. I would imagine that our players are in low energy mode with this heat and having already played 2 rounds the day before. Any shortcut worth taking is one they're taking. Jackie drops a stroke. He is now only 1 stroke in front of Manabu, who with his birdie is now 8 under to Jackie's 9 under. Ko and Yutaro both get the birdies there to bring them to 2 under and 1 under respectively. Fantastic performance from our lead card on hole 8, which played 0.12 strokes under par with 24% birdies, 64% par, and 12% bogey. As we move into hole 9, par 3, 390 foot, 119 meter. Up to down shot here, playing over the same baseball field that we just threw over for hole 8. The infield hazard area coming much more into play on this hole than the last one, but a nice teeing surface. Nice elevation change on this hole. As Manabu shows his card the line, he'll be at circle's edge or just beyond for his birdie look. Very nicely played. The advantage of his power is being able to play a disc that lands so smoothly even when it runs out of steam. Yutaro's disc moving a bit further left than Manabu's did. And chain high, but about 5 meters wide for his ace run. He'll be inside circle 1, I believe, for his birdie putt. Ko's backhand hyzering as it loses steam. But he'll be in deep circle 2 on the left side of the basket for his birdie putt. And Jackie at the bottom of the card for the first time today. Should have an excellent wind read after watching 3 competitors throw. Throws right over our throw cam. Clanging off the wall. Truly a backstop for the discs here. I'm surprised that there isn't OB marked off of that backstop, but That is a course designer's decision. Very nice bid from Ko Simmel, just off left. And this wall is not OB, and so Jackie cannot take relief from it. He's a very awkward stance here. Half staggered, half straddle. No problem. Beautiful birdie putt. What can you do to catch a guy who still makes putts like that when he can't get a break? Manabu looking to answer. Beautiful putt for his birdie. Keeping it close. Without that bogey, double bogey on hole 4. Bogey on hole 4. He and Jackie would be tied. Yutaro taps in his birdie. You see what I was saying about the top link on these baskets? Did you see how the putter was just sort of smacked down like it hit a wall? These baskets do not like to catch high. As Ko taps out his par. Hole 9 played .36 strokes under par, the second easiest hole of the day. 48% birdie, 40% par, 12% bogey. As we round out our final 9, thank you all for joining us so far. And thank you to the Disc Channel Founders Club. Our Founders Club is a YouTube subscription model where we accept donations that help us keep the lights on. Without our founders, we would not be able to bring you as much or as high quality coverage as we do. If you're interested in becoming a Founders Club member, please check us out on YouTube. Click that subscription button. And at the very least, please give us a like and a subscribe so you don't miss the release of the back 9 here in the final round of the 27th Nippon Open presented by DiscGolf. Until then, this is Rob Rowland, Innova Ambassador, signing off.